So I thought what we'd do today is choose something that's a particularly sticky thought for us at the moment, or a very persistent type of thought. So obviously we have endless thoughts every day and through the night as well, but most of those don't particularly bother us. The vast majority of them maybe might be a little bit pointless, but they come and we give them a little bit of our attention and then they go again. But then there are certain thoughts or patterns of thoughts sometimes. So it doesn't have to be a specific one, um, and and sometimes those are the ones that are the sort of thoughts that bother us. So we have maybe certain patterns of thinking or a certain topic of thought that comes up a lot. That might well change from time to time. But like I said, they can be the ones that we find to be a bit of a pain. So they're also the ones we don't want to look at or deal with. We don't really want to go there. So it seems like a weird sort of topic to choose for a Friday sort of relaxation type practice, but it actually works quite well. It can feel like a real cleanse through that you sort of acknowledge that something is there that you don't want to think about, and seeing it for what it is, because that's what carries the power. It's that we never look at certain thoughts. So for example, if I've got to pay a bill that I haven't got the money to pay right now, um, that might play over and over in my head, and I think, oh God, it's just making me feel ill, or I don't want to think about it anymore. I want it to go away. But what we never actually do is look at what that thought is causing for us, or is it causing stress or tension somewhere in our body? Is it causing us to feel sick in a certain way? What is the sort of physical manifestation of that sort of thought? And that's why we never really move through those. We tend to just sort of bump along from one problem to the next, but never getting on top of the greater sort of picture. But anyway, we'll dive in and hopefully it'll make more sense, and we'll blend it in with a nice relaxing practice too. So it's a bit of both really. But primarily, first thing is to make yourself as comfy as possible. Make sure you're warm, but I think everyone's probably warm. No problem there. And we'll start this practice as we start every practice, which is just to spend a few moments, maybe with our breath or maybe with some other focus. It's very hard to ever just jump straight into a deeper practice without going through this. And this is also what we come back to if we find that we're getting really stuck or held up. We can just come back to some focus for a moment or two. Or if you're not enjoying the practice, or if something comes up that feels very challenging, you can always just come back and anchor yourself with concentration or focus. So just counting your breath or observing the movement of your body as you breathe. You can follow your breath as if it's going around the outside of an egg or around the outside of a box. And soon enough you'll find that you're distracted. Your attention may have become tangled up with a passing thought, and all of a sudden that thought isn't a passing thought anymore. It's been offered a full seat at the table and it's sat down, and now it won't be quiet. So all we need to do is notice when we've done that, when we've indulged a thought or become stuck to it. And then remember just to come back to the concentration or the focus. We may do that over and over again. And that is the practice of concentration. It's not how long can I maintain my focus as such. It's more a case of how quickly do I notice when I've wandered, and can I remember to come straight back. And for the next 5 to 10 slow breaths, just see if you can make a little effort to let go of any tension that you feel you're able to release. Might be holding it in your shoulders, your neck, face, your tummy, or somewhere else altogether. See if it's possible every time you exhale to just soften those tight areas or those tense areas. Don't be afraid to acknowledge them. Sometimes we don't even want to recognize or accept that those areas are there. And now we'll shift gently into just being mindfully aware of any thoughts that are passing through. So we're taking our focus away from holding it tightly on the breath or the body or whatever you were focusing on. And we're opening up into this more expansive, soft observation of any thoughts that enter and leave our attention. Don't get indulged or engaged with the thoughts. Be almost like a curious observer. Maybe you become curious, what is this thought made of? As the observer, how do I even know that this is a thought and it's not something else like a bird singing? Just watch as they come and take shape. Or maybe some of them don't take shape, they don't fully form. And then watch as they pass away or somehow deconstruct. And as they come and they go, just notice if there are any changes in your body. Some of those changes may be very subtle. Maybe thoughts emerge only as you're breathing in or as you're breathing out. Maybe you get a very subtle wave of feeling or sensation as a thought emerges. Maybe your body returns to more of a blank canvas when the thought disappears, or maybe it's the complete opposite. Now continue to observe the body and the breath. Make them quite tightly observable so that you're not missing any details. You've still got this general view of the whole body and the breath. And whilst you're doing that, see if it's possible to bring into mind something that's maybe just irritating you right now or worrying you. Don't bring to mind something that's so powerful you feel you can't sit with it. Maybe a sort of low to medium level problem or worry or irritation. You don't start engaging with it, but you allow it to be present. And can you see how your body or your breath shifts as you allow this just to be noticed and to be known? If at any point you find it too uncomfortable, you just come back to your original point of focus, your breath or sounds. Just focus tightly on that for a while. But if you're able to hold that thought or that type of thought or pattern of thinking loosely, can you observe why you're so reluctant to give it attention, why you don't want that to be there? What happens that feels unpleasant about that type of thought? Is there a change in sensation in your shoulders, your chest, tummy, or somewhere internally? Do you maybe hold your breath? Or does your breath shift in some other way, becoming faster or shorter? Rather than focusing on the thought, see very clearly with absolute clarity that the thought has no power at all in itself. It's just something that's passing through like every other thought. We don't even know what a thought is. You couldn't even define it to me. But you can very clearly feel the discomfort in your body, and that's what we overlook. Or that's what we try to avoid by avoiding those thoughts, those worries. So now we're going to work with the body, with the breath. And we're going to start by just affirming to ourselves or reminding ourselves, this is just a thought. I'm completely safe. There's absolutely nothing that this thought can do that's going to harm me right now. In fact, I don't even know what a thought is. Although I may be feeling as if the thought is the cause of my problems, the thought itself can't be the cause of a problem. I see clearly what's happening. So that's our first step, to affirm that we are safe, we can't be harmed just by allowing thoughts to be there. You may even feel like your whole body's going into tension, tightness. Next step is that we're going to go specifically to where we're feeling this discomfort in the body. So if it's primarily in your neck, go to the neck. If it's primarily in your tummy, go to the tummy. If it feels as if your whole head's tingling or hot, then go to that. And you're going to breathe directly into that unpleasant sensation. And again, if it's too much, you can just simply leave that part of the practice and just go back to your original focus. But if not, then you're going to bring full attention to the discomfort you're feeling or the unpleasant sensation and breathe directly into it as if you're caring for it. You're not denying it anymore. You're not pushing it away as if it's an unwanted part of yourself. Just segregating it. Actually care for it and comfort it with the breath. So the breath is really just our comfort blanket, if you like. Or our way of letting that part of the body know that it's okay. So as you breathe into that area, just feel the discomfort slowly breaking up with the inhale. Shoulders might drop, tummy might relax, facial muscles become untensed. Neck softens, and as we breathe out very slowly, we're just carrying a trickle of that away from the body, away from that area. So now, instead of denying what we're feeling, we're bringing our attention directly to it. And allowing that to just be relieved. Saying we're safe. I fully acknowledge what's going on in my body. I'm just going to comfort that area and look after it for a while, instead of resisting it like I always do and repressing it. And the breath works in like this gentle massage. Self-comforting. And just rest with that, We'll stay with that practice for another minute or so if you're happy to. If you're not, that's totally fine. It's not a fail or succeed practice at all. It's not how this works. And then the next 5 breaths are just going to wash through the whole body. They feel as if they're just cleaning out or refreshing the entire body. Just flushing out any sensation or comforting any sensation that we feel is challenging. And reminding us that we have this ability to just return to our default setting or our baseline whenever we remember to. We don't need to be afraid of our own bodies and our own feelings. For sure, we're not going to be able to deal with everything at the start, and that's perfectly normal. But we might be able to just work with the little things that are a bit irritating or a bit worrying. And slowly we build up our confidence and our skill. And now 5 more breaths coming up from 0. And with these breaths we start to just notice that we're not isolated, we're not just this body that we believe we're trapped inside somehow. We're just as connected to the outside. We're noticing sounds, sense of there being space around us and outside of the room. All these other people. And we start to feel a gentle stretch, a gentle wiggle of the fingers or toes emerging. Maybe rubbing the face or rubbing the hands together if that helps. And knowing that meditation isn't just this tool by which we move away from stuff we don't want to be with. That's not meditation at all. That's relaxation. Relaxation is totally fine. It's just a different tool. But meditation is the meaning of the word in Tibetan is being familiar with, understanding fully. So, really seeing what's going on. So that's really what this practice is about. To see what's going on, to see how certain thoughts shift how we feel, and then to see what we normally do about that, which is normally run away from it or block it or resist it. And then to try and stop doing that or stop indulging that pattern of behaviour. I hope it was useful.